And I think you actually have the most interesting story of all of us, because you didn't plan on going into or becoming an accountant at all. Never mind starting your own business.
No, not at all. I didn't even do bookkeeping in school. It didn't even vaguely interest me. I remember my best friend, you know, back in the day when you had best friends, my best friend saying she was going to be a CA, and I didn't even know what it was. And then she had to explain it to me, and I thought it was the most boring thing I'd ever heard of. I thought the last thing I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life was dealing with other people's numbers. And she ended up being a teacher, and I ended up being the accountant. So that didn't go as planned, but yeah.
And then when did you decide to go off on your own?
Well, that was also not a cognitive decision. One day, and he said he's got this contact who has 4 businesses, and he's not happy with his accountant. He's looking for a new one, and I must quote. And I said, you know, why?
What
why me?
You're
nuts. And he's like, because you can work for yourself, like you said you always wanted to. I said, give it a try.
Oh.
And I thought, well, I very much doubt they're going to go with me, because I was 25 and I just had a bookkeeping diploma. Because I think I was a senior bookkeeper is the qualification I had at the time. And I thought, well, that's not very impressive, but I'll go meet this man and I'll do the quote, and, you know, my dad will be happy, and then I'll just go back to my job. And and he accepted the quote, which at the time was 40% of my salary.
Wow.
But I was 25. So I was stupid enough to think, well, why not?
This is gonna work. So you left your job.
At one stage, I thought I'd reopen my Grand's travel business, because I really loved it so much. She wasn't a travel agent. She was a tour operator, and that means you go with.
Yeah.
So we would actually go on these tours. And my nan was 75 when she opened this business.
Oh my God.
She was a phenomenal woman. So her target market was her age group. So she tailored trips for people over 50. So she would make sure there weren't too many stairs, and there wasn't too much walking, and there weren't bunk beds and things like that. And mainly she did it really so she could travel and other people would pay for it.
Yeah, just great idea. It's like, wow.
So yeah, it was mainly overseas, because there's all the countries she'd always wanted to go to. When I was 19, part of that phase where I wasn't 100% sure what to do with myself, she was getting on. And so she asked me if I would accompany her on these trips, because I had more energy to run around and, you know, do the passport stamps and get the visas and speak to the concierges and do all the legwork. And she could just enjoy the trip. So I managed to do a few that way, and I really loved it. Apart from the travel and the amazing places I got to go, I loved traveling with the oldies. I loved it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, stories they tell.
Interesting stories.